Good day, everybody, and welcome to today's lesson. Today we're doing rounding off. Now I know some of you might feel, but I already know how to round off. But it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt you to try and just to do revision. Okay, so today we're not going to round off normal numbers. We're going to round off some decimal numbers, and we're going to see if we actually understand what we're supposed to be doing. Okay, so to start first, we need to know our rules, right? So when the numbers that we're looking at is 4 and lower, the number on the left stays the same, and the rest of the numbers on the right turns to 0. If it's 5 and higher, the number on the left, you add 1 to that, and then the number on the right turns to 0. Okay, so let's look at a few examples. We have question number 1, or we have the one number that says 64.839906. And question number 1 says round off to the whole number. So we need to round off to the whole number, which means we actually need to look at the number before we get to the whole number. What is that? The first whole number that we have is 4. So the first number that we need to look at is the 8 here. Okay, so now we look at the 8. Our rule states if it's 5 and higher, the number on the left plus 1. So we need to plus the number on the left-hand side with 1, and then the rest becomes 0. But hold on, when they say whole number, they do not want the rest of the numbers on the right-hand side. They just want the answer. Okay, so when we see, okay, 8 is bigger than 5, which means we need to add 1 to the 4 over there. We need to add 1 here, and then we need to write down the number, which means 6 stays the same. 4 plus 1 gives us 5, and the rest is 0. We don't write the zeros. We just leave it be like that. Okay, so that's how we answer that first question. Now, let's look at the next one. The next one, we need to round off to the nearest first decimal place. So, to 1 decimal. Decimal. Spelling mistake there. Okay, so decimal place. Okay, now we look at what's the first decimal place. This is the first decimal place. Okay, so we're looking at this one over here, which means we need to see how much this one is. This one's going to change, but we're looking at this one over here. Okay, which means, is it 4 and lower? Yes, it is 4 and lower because it's a 3. So we now need to say that the number on the left stays the same, and the rest of the numbers on the right turns to 0, which means the 8 stays the same. So we're going to write that down, 64.8, and the rest turns 0. We don't want those because they only want to 1 decimal place. If we write any other number after this, then our answer would be wrong, even if they are just a bunch of zeros. So we just keep it like that. We keep it to 1 decimal place. We don't write the other numbers. Okay, so let's look at our next one. Our next one states that they want to round off to the 3 decimal places. Okay, so let's round off to 3 decimal places. Number 3 states 3 decimals places. Okay, so now we need to count 1, 2, 3. This one changes, and this one we look at. Okay, so let's look at that. So we look at 9. 9 is bigger than 5. It's 5 and bigger. Okay, which means the number on the left plus 1. So we need, for this number, we need to plus 1 over here, plus 1. Okay, and then the numbers on the right turns to 0. So let's write that number, 64 point. Now, because this is a 9, if we add 1 here, it turns into a 10, right? Which means this one turns into a 0, and then we carry the 1 over to the 3. So then we have 8, 3 plus 1 is 4, and that will be a 0. Yes, we do write the 0 because they want 3 decimal places. If you don't write the 0, then your answer would be wrong because then you don't have 3 decimal places. Okay, so that is how we solve these type of equations. Now again, I know you guys know how to round off, but it doesn't hurt to just double check and make sure that you actually understand the work. Okay, so let's look at a few questions that you're going to answer for me. Okay, so we're going to see, I'm going to ask you guys to round off. Okay, so let me write this down. So the questions I want you guys to figure out is round off each number to 2 decimal places. A is 3.185, B is 0.064, C is 12.0164, and D is 15.1159. Then number 2, change 2 and 5 over 9 to a decimal using your calculator and express the answer correct to the following. A, 3 decimal places, and B, 2 significant figures. Okay, so that's what we need to do for homework, and then we'll sort out the answers with our next video. Have a good day.